to hear in here? All right. We have a quorum. We want to open the meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the republic for which it stands, liberty and justice for all. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Everybody in favor of approving it?
Aye.
Aye. Motion's approved. All right.
Mr. President, before you tonight, we'd like to recognize the Danville Community High School football team and with a proclamation on their fine season of 2020. Once the proclamation is read, I believe you will need to make a motion to approve and sign, and then it will be an official document at that point. So, Mr. Winters, I'll turn the microphone over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Hello, guys. Hello, guys. It's great to have you here. Thank you for taking time this evening. It was a great season. I know it's a few months later, but we had to battle through COVID and schedules and finally are able to make this happen. But it was an unbelievable season for you guys. It was fun watching you, and I got to have a little bit of special access writing things for the Republican newspaper, so that was pretty neat too. But you guys were just an awesome team, and I know some of you are seniors and you won't be here this fall, but I'm looking forward to this coming season as well. So on behalf of the Danville Town Council, I want to read this proclamation. Proclamation, Danville Community High School Football Team. Whereas today we recognize the Danville Community High School football team for the remarkable 2020 season and commend the coaching staff and players on their notable accomplishments. Whereas in the 2020 season, the Warriors had a breakthrough season going 12-1 overall and ranked 25th in the state as well of Indiana, as well as ranked second in Class 3A. And whereas the team was not only impressive on the field, but in their academics as well, leading them to be the Sagamore Conference champions, sectional champions, regional champions, semi-state champions, and state runner-up champions. And the town of Danville does desire to give the Danville Warriors high school football team special recognition and honor. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that by the virtue of the authority vested in the town council of the town of Danville and the state of Indiana, we do hereby proclaim thanks and recognition to the Danville Community High School team for their years of practice and talent and to be awarded such a high honor. And we urge all citizens to make an impact on their community like these young men have done and continue to do so for the town of Danville. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hand and caused the seal of the town of Danville, Indiana, to be affixed the 17th day of March in the year 2021. Congratulations, gentlemen. And with that, Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve this proclamation.
All right, do I have a motion to approve? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
It's been approved, and congratulations,
And
guys.
I think if you want to head over here for some pictures, that would be great.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know we have a lot on the agenda tonight, but this is a very special night for these young men, so if you'll bear with us while we give them their due recognition, we'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Mark, do you want to sign this now? Yes.
You want to go take a picture with them?
Yeah.
They're doing it now. Thanks.
I not allowed to? No. Oh, yeah.
Up there. Certain things. Tried my best.
So are you going to make a comment on general study?
Yeah, I'll write that down.
Oh, you're going to do it at the end?
Street closure right now. All right.
We need just a minute while the clerk treasurer makes a copy. Make sure they have it.
Jenny's making a copy of that. Okay. All right, next on the agenda, request for street closure, Central Overtime. For call, competition. Is anyone here? Yes, they're all right.
Hi, everybody. Nate Classic, Central Town, 71 South Washington. Yeah, we're requesting a street closure. Marion, April 24th, pretty much all day, probably like 10 at 8 o'clock for a carnival tournament. Maybe it's in fundraisers, everyone around the stages, and close it up Washington and Indiana Street between the building we are in is. That's our request.
I just think we hear everything.
We intended to be here lately, if not, twice a year. We're still hoping as far as.
I understand a lot of people like to play that in the town, so it might be a good deal.
Yeah, we're excited for it. Trying to get people out in the spring and the better weather coming up. And hopefully, we'll do the social distancing and everybody's going to go.
And it's a $10,000 prize.
It's $20,000 per year.
Anybody want to make a comment?
Yeah, so you said you get closed all day. Essentially, you start at 3 o'clock.
I was looking at it earlier today, and I think this is set up and make things right. We probably need to do it from 10 to 8. Because we do intend to have some food out there and possibly food drives and things of that nature.
Mr. President, I'd like
could, just direct a question to Kelly from the Chamber of Commerce. Kelly, will this interfere with anything on Farmers Market, Maryland's and Marion Street between Washington and Indiana? Right, okay.
And this is April 24th, and have they started at that point?
April 24th?
Yeah.
No, we have not started
Okay,
yet.
perfect, thank you.
We have started filming.
Just want to make sure you're okay with it.
Sounds good.
They have been forwarded all of our resolutions for fees for street closure, and if this is approved, we'll take public works, fire, police, make sure that everybody understands the meeting.
You guys good with that?
Yeah, we have already sorted out the access part, so they're on board and they're fine.
Make the motion that we approve the street closure for Supermall.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to pass. Enjoy your meeting.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, public comment.
Mr. President, I have 14 forms of persons requesting to speak tonight. I believe are
If you be looking live,
do you want to say anything?
everybody that's.
Sorry, you put me on the spot.
Sure. So take that down.
Is this public comment outside of one of the items?
Let's see. I would say out of 14 requests that we've heard, looks like 11 are in reference to the Miles Farm DR ordinance. It appears that one is about Quail West property, one is about police department, and one says various.
What I would do is I would utilize, the individuals who are speaking on who listed agenda items when that topic comes up, and those that are not speaking on the agenda items will then speak now.
So, Mr. President, I'm going to invite some legal counsel. I guess the first thing I would ask is if anyone who here is wishing to speak on any topic that is not listed as an agenda item. The reason I ask that is one, like I said, it says police department, but it is, given the person's address, I'm assuming they have some concerns as well about the police department. So it appears that no one wants to speak, other than the topics on the agenda. So, the first item would be fiscal plan for Quail West. You want to take public comment now? Or you want, because I know that has to be out of the anyway.
When you talk about fiscal plan in a public hearing, that has to be open as a public hearing. Right. So I will open up a public hearing, allowing those who wish to speak on that issue at that time. And close the public hearing, and then to explore the building, positions, summary, and then
That was a point.
President, I don't know if you heard that, the attorneys are recommending that you go ahead and, introduce, resolution 221, this is for public hearing, and it will be downloaded, for public comment. Does anyone wish to speak about the fiscal?
Meeting's open for public comment.
Is there anyone who'd like to speak to the fiscal plan or fiscal resolution for the Quail West property? Mr. President, we're hearing no speakers. You close the meeting. Should we close the public hearing?
Close the public comment, up to me.
It'll now be up for a vote because it is a resolution that you heard tonight.
So we have no clear comment.
Not on the fiscal resolution. You may have on the annexation, but not on the fiscal resolution.
Okay, next item is D.
We need to actually take a vote on this resolution.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve resolution 2-2021, this is plan for Quail West property.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Motion and second. Jimmy, you want to take a roll?
Fred Van Leer. David Woodward. Pompeo. Nancy Levitt. Chris Carroll.
Motion's been passed 5-0. I read ordinance 3/2021, petition for annexation of Quail West.
This ordinance was brought before council, in February, and I'll let, town planner come on and speak to it, and then we do have one request to speak about this item.
Good evening. This item is regarding petition for annexation in County of just going to East Street. It was for the Plan Commission. Actually introduced to this body on February 3rd. Public hearing of the Plan Commission on February 8th. They did send their recommendation to the council with some conditions, and those items have been included in your packet. We have had demonstrators and some letters in the final financing the project. So that is the annexation.
Lisa, I'm sorry, looking at the resolution.
Sorry, the resolution.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't call you for that. I should-
Okay.
I'll let you take the next one.
Okay. So, resolution 2 is for the fiscal plan that was prepared for the wellness project. Did not show any negative impact on the town of Danville's provide services.
Mr. President, I have one request to speak on this topic. I hope I say this correct, Joe Calderon, am I saying that correctly?
Good evening, Joe Calder, South Florida. I'm just representing the applicant. I filled out the form for the office request. I really only need to speak and answer any questions on any of these three agenda items. So happy to do so this time if you would like.
Well, if I may, I think this other discussion that's taken place in the last few days is brought some additional thoughts to me on this general topic of homes in our town, standards, things of that nature. I know we're into this process a little bit further, I believe, but it may seem old at this point, but I would like to see my side kind of go away. And see the replacement of the very large
subdivisions in Plainfield, they're not. So we're, anybody else want to comment? So we're going to vote on that.
I'll allow Richard Henderson from the developer to speak to that. I'm going to comment I will make is we did agree to create a fitness requirement at Plainfield West last month. I'll let Richard speak to, maybe kind of some of the perceptions about my outlook and what it might mean and address the questions for everything.
My name is Richard Henderson, for your land company, developed the project. In regard to vinyl siding, a lot of changes have occurred over the years and improvements within vinyl products and so on. There's additional upgrades as far as fitness and installation procedures. Our builders are trying to follow as well to improve what you might have seen 5, 10 years ago now. We did, as Joe mentioned, first batch, last other projects within the town increased the minimum thickness of the vinyl to 0.014, which is a higher grade vinyl, which will cover. You won't see weight and things like that within the siding, that heavier gauge thickness. The other, some other benefits that you get with the vinyl siding is it's not very low maintenance product. A lot of things that people don't realize is if you're doing wood, if you're doing hard plank siding, whatever, you've got now every 5 years or so heat requirement. You don't necessarily have on vinyl siding. So part of this project also has a duplex or 2-family dwelling, and that those units are will be maintained in somewhat by portions of the maintenance of those homes will be maintained by the homeowners association, and that puts an extra burden on an HOA to have to paint those houses rather than having to find a product as well. This project being very consistent with the other ones that have recently been approved, we hope that we can continue discussions if necessary in regard to increase fitness rate for vinyl.
So you don't want to elevators?
We went for 0.042, 0.044 for the request of the planning commission and staff.
And you not going to consider
I would need to get with both of my builders on this project before I can make that commitment, so that was something that I would potentially expect to request a continuance if that was the case, so that I could have that discussion with my builders before I made that commitment.
I apologize, I wasn't able to make the planning commission on the 8th, but I have a question about the installation of the vinyl siding. Is it typical that during the process of installation, is there a backboard of some sort that the vinyl siding is adhered to?
Each builder is a little bit different. I give you a combination of each builder that would propose on after installation, but most of them are it's not just add to a home or anything like that. That's serious. Or sure. That's all. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any questions?
I apologize, I have a question for the attorney. We feel the same as here, what does that apply to, that action?
The timing of the action continues as well. This issue is an annexation. So for the annexation, there is a timing. So the super indicate the plan commission's recommendation to the council to take action on that. If the council does not take action, then that will be period, whatever the recommendation of the council or the plan commission is becomes final. So if it's a favorable recommendation, you don't take action on it, it becomes it's passed. If it's an unfavorable recommendation, you take action on it, it's
So we voted yes on this, and we voted yes on the annexation. We wanted to get a response from the builder, on that. And it was as long as that 90 days.
as long as within the 90 days.
If we vote no, if we vote no, we'll just,
Then the PB petition will be denied, and so then the petitioner can make a substantial changes to the PB, when the back to the plan should start again. Or they want the exact same project without any changes, then they'll have to do it.
Okay, anything else from the council? And you gentlemen, you finished? You want to say something else?
Yeah, we can do whatever we want with respect to, we're not sure here. Hoping like that annexation and rezoning, the question of the overlay to rezoning. And if we are, obviously, I can answer my question, and you can take the full vote, but, you know, obviously,
So you're saying that one council?
We also have a PowerPoint that underwriters do that we do a whole presentation showing some of the product and neighborhood as well. We got your strong annexation of this plan and we're going to something there. So we could include that as part of our presentation tonight. We go through that, show your products, and more details of neighborhood, et cetera. If you want to move forward with that.
I don't know. I would like to create the voting for the annexation. Allow you to go back to your representative, talk about the initial request, and then maybe come in. We don't have that many days to go forward. We can get a response. But I just want to let you know.
All right, thank you. We have a motion to second.
Greg Van Leer. David Winters. Tom Hager.
Aye.
Nancy Levitt. Chris Carroll.
Motion to pass 5-0.
So, the next item for is the request for rezoning,
So petition for annexation of the
So we still on, so,
we learned where we want to do that, which is the request for rezoning.
okay. That's exactly what the request to, rezone to PUD, and you have PUD, development area in the packet. One thing I might add is, I don't know what the time frames are, if it takes 10 years to rewrite it in 10 years, because the annexation is approved. Because there are some days that have to record the annexation, like 30 days once it's approved, that wouldn't want. I don't think they want to have the annexation approved and recorded without a rezone. So I just want to make sure that you're aware there's only 30 days from the time of the annexation is approved, so it has to be recorded. So quality of that.
Thank you.
So we continue this, or we just say we're continuing it, Sorry.
My recommendation would be to have a motion to table, and then take a vote on the table. So it's a different passage.
All right, I'll make a motion to table this.
Motion and a second. Anything to take the roll?
Craig Benzier. David Winters. Tom Tomato. Nancy Levitt. Chris Gerald.
Motion to pass 5-0. Next one, please.
Next on the agenda, Mr. President, is the fiscal resolution plan for the Miles property. This is a public hearing, so we'll have to table. So, we have a motion, I'll give this over to Calvin.
If I could, go ahead and just kind of go through the rest of the presentation for all three of these, and then you, if I could go through the presentation for all three, then you can vote on them separately, if you don't mind, I'll just go ahead and do that. Well, as I said, this is the plan that was done for the Lions property, which is out west of Danville, north side of 36. And in that fiscal plan, there was no negative impact on the town, and you do have a property that we will continue to have. The plan commission for the rezone on March 10th, they sent a favorable recommendation with conditions, and those conditions have been forwarded to you, although we have provided additional conditions out today. So if you're interested in hearing what those are, the petitioner is here and would like to go through some of those. And then obviously the ordinance for the rezone would need to accept the PUD as written.
Thank you. So we got a roll.
Yeah, well, I'd like to hear from the petitioner,
Okay, we can't hear anything, so something needs to change with the microphone. It's not going.
Mr. President, as a point of order, the first thing that should, on your agenda is the resolution for the fiscal plan, which is completely separate of, I believe, what they're proposing. So, advice of council, I would recommend you go ahead and address the fiscal plan first, and then we can address the annexation and the plans.
All right, so this is the fiscal plan.
It'll be downloaded for public hearing. So would you like me to go through some of these changes? Not yet. Yeah, let's let the fiscal plan be heard, and then, we'll do the changes if that's what council wishes. So, Lisa, is there anything you want to add on the fiscal plan, other than that? So the fiscal plan has been presented to the council. It's your decision on what you want to do on the fiscal plan. It has no bearing truly about the other two issues, you just approving the fiscal plan. The board's open, you guys are more open for public comment for the fiscal plan.
Guys, nobody can hear up here, and it's not working out. There's something different with the other night.
the gentleman up here, my friend, was saying that if you could kind of Steven Tyler the mic, that would really be helpful.
Can you hear this? Can you hear that? Can you hear that? Can you hear that?
It might almost be better if you just didn't use the mic, because if you have a loud voice, that would be really helpful, because we can't hear.
I mean, who can't hear? Come on, raise your hand. Who cannot hear anything?
I'm Greg Black, Newmark Manor. I'm here in opposition to the fiscal plan and the annexation and the rezoning. As you'll find out, I'm sure your council will advise you, Indiana Code Chapter 3643 governs what the courts do with these annexations, et cetera, once the matter becomes in the court system itself. I asked on March 11th, the day after the hearing, recommending the annexation, the zoning for continuance of tonight's hearing. And I'd like to know what your position on that is, because we don't have a lawyer yet, we don't have our expert witnesses yet, we need time to be a lawyer and be prepared. So we filed that with the town council the morning of the 11th, continue this for 30 days to allow us to get ready as a matter of person. So I move we continue for 30 days, please. That's correct.
I just want to make sure everybody can hear what's being said and what's concerned.
Try no mics.
What's that?
Want to try no mics?
Try to relax.
No mics. I mean, you hear me? I thought like this.
Yeah.
Very good.
Is there any way to go up there and face this way? We would be able to continue.
Can you guys hear this microphone even? Yeah. What loud? Yeah, but I can just think what you're saying.
Yeah, this annexation is just a voluntary annexation. It's different than the annexations I read in Mr. Black's motion, in the case where he represented some homeowners, the town of Brownsburg sought to annex in 4,400 acres, which the folks didn't want to be annexed. And as part of that, Mr. Black represented those folks. They fought that through the court, saying they didn't want to be annexed, and ultimately prevailed on that. This is completely opposite. We've got two voluntary annexation here. We've got this prepared and reviewed by the land, and state level American. You hear that?
Now, the second idea is
Hello? Can you hear that? All right, let's try this. You gotta keep the mic. That's good. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. So I want to make sure I understand, and for the council here, you're wanting a 30-day stay on everything. Okay. And then, I would like to hear the public comment. I know we had a number of people that doesn't bind us on anything else, correct? Is there a detriment to staying or continuing all three of these items?
The only other thing on that, I would refer back to our council on this, to be honest with you.
I want to make sure the public can hear me as well. So when you look at the fiscal plan, that is the expenditures that the town of Danville will have in order to service its area. Police, fire, roads, streets, floors, things of that nature. So it is the plan of how you would service the newly annexed area. The annexation ordinance would obviously be acceptance of this new parcel into the town of Danville. The PUD is going to be the use of that newly annexed property. What are they allowed to put there? How are they allowed to put there? And so they are tied together in that you have to have a fiscal plan adopted. You have to have the annexation. Then once you have the annexation, you gotta have that. Then tied together that way. My concern about the continuance of the annexation issue is that when you have a super voluntary annexation, you gotta have it there within 30 days of the petition of the super voluntary annexation. Under the super voluntary annexation code, there's 3 it's not provision for extension or things of that nature. And so, when it comes to the annexation part, I think your best option is moving forward unless the petitioner themselves say they do not want to move forward.
Thank you, Lord and Council. We would waive any penalty by virtue of the continuance. All we want is time to prepare. We would waive the 30-day requirement and allow the super voluntary to go forward as though it would be for the time. That would be fine. We just need not to have witnesses and lawyers.
I don't think that it is the right to the hearing is the right of the petitioner. So it would be petitioner of the application, not the public. And I don't know that anyone, even if it was up to the public, I don't know how one member of the public is going to find it. So that the waiver issue would be that of petitioner of the party.
Can we hear from the rest of the public before we take any votes on these? Is that appropriate? Sorry, Okay, so.
You've already opened the gavel, open more public hearing. So people can speak, but again, I don't know if there were remonstrances with the fiscal plan as much as it is with the annexation and the usage. I make a motion. Hang on. We still have the public hearing still down the road, Mr. President has closed.
Here is the situation we see. As you all know, if we're ruled on adversely against this, we're going to go forward. We have several months to do that. And you, and I don't know, you have to find, if you approve the fiscal plan and the annexation, that this is in the best interest of the town. Now, within the statute, council knows, we're extremely dense and complex. The development must provide, one way or the other, the proper road maintenance involved with the annexation property in the fields, which should be 1,500 acres of property, homeowners, residential. We all know that 36 is not very good. We all know that 36 not only doesn't maintain to handle this subdivision, talking about bypasses for 39, and that makes 39. You're gonna tie up 39 just on 36 with my farm, and you're gonna create a bottleneck, not only in the western part of town, but in the northwestern part of town, on the road 11 and 974. Therefore, we're saying, when you get a target for the force, you bring in the homes and the apartments prior to the expansion of the road, then you're getting back, which is like trying to build an elevator before everybody comes down. Exactly. You can't do it. Now, one thing we're saying is we will together some children for trying to is that the only prudent manner to proceed is to prevail upon INDOT for something that now is never to its state senator and its representative in the county to get on this right away, expand 39, 36, 39 is necessary, build 39 bypass and get that done first. Secondly, we have a manager tonight named Adam Green, who's done a survey of 317 town residents. 96% of them are opposed.
Thank you. We are, thank you. For the sake of everyone's opportunity to speak, we are going to try to keep your comments to 3 minutes, just to give everyone an opportunity. So thank you, Ms. Blair, for your comments. Can you hear me? So, we're supposedly voting on the fiscal plan.
Would you state your name, Greg?
Oh, sorry, I'm Ray Whitaker, Jr., with 1323 Lane. Talking about the fiscal plan for this development and the cost impact that it has on the town. Through Ray Luck, I appreciate Ray calling me back and kind of explaining where the $6 million bond was at, but the sewer update that we all heard about in the zoning meeting. Sorry. Greg did return my call and let me know where the $6 million bond came from for the sewer renovation project. And for those that aren't aware, we've already seen one cost increase on our water and sewer bills already. There's another one coming, and then a third one after. So that's how that's being done. Talking to Greg, this is a fiscal plan. Are we going to need another wastewater treatment plant as well? And if so, what's that cost? If we don't know what the cost of these things are, I don't know how we can say there's a fiscal plan with no negative impact. We just talked about EMS services. They are donating 5 acres of land, but they're not donating money to build those, staff them, buy the equipment. What's the cost of that? How can we have a fiscal plan when we don't know what that cost is?
Just a minute ago, 1779 Whisperwood Trail. I have a quick question. I have multiple things I wanted to touch on. One does involve the fiscal plan. Do I say everything now, or can I get up multiple times as long as I stay within 3 minutes?
This is a public hearing for the fiscal plan. If you have I kind of have something you'd like to comment on, we'll open that.
Okay. The main thing with the fiscal plan is that this plan is only for phase 1, but the Miles Farm has multiple phases, nearly 400 acres worth of development. I think it's best to delay this, and we need to see the fiscal plan for the entire development, because this is saying that there's barely any impact on our community and on the town costs, but that is not accurate for a whole development. So if you annex and rezone the whole development, why is there not a fiscal plan for the entire development, not just phase 1? Also, I spoke with someone at the water company, and they said the water main cannot sustain the entire development. The fiscal plan says that the water main can sustain phase 1, but like I said, it's not just phase one that we're looking at here. So I think this needs to be postponed, voted down for now, and we need the entire information, not just bits and pieces.
Excuse me, Adam Green, 2284 West County Road, 200. Those two people pretty much hit on everything. The one question that I had was, in relation to traffic. It's my understanding that 36 can't be widened into Grove Street. 39 is going to be a challenge because of the school. And it's my understanding that there's been some concepts done on a traffic plan to bypass the south. Now, this fiscal plan we're discussing, to my understanding, only addresses the street infrastructure for the development itself, stating that there's no impact within the plan itself. What my question is what is the town, county, and state's plan for either a bypass, improvements to 36, or dumping out to 39? Because I've heard there's a lot of concepts and studies that have been done, but we don't have anything on paper. So I understand where you guys are coming from, your responsibilities are to put the infrastructure within the development, but there's going to be a burden on our streets that I don't know that has been accounted for. So I'd just like a little bit of clarification on that before we say that there is no impact. Thank you.
It was mentioned, my name is Jessica Floor, 808 North, County Road 200 West. But it's my understanding that within each topic, there's 3 minutes per person, is that correct? But no, it also says that you can donate those 3 minutes to someone else that needs to speak. I'd like to speak on a different matter, but I'd like to go 3 minutes to someone that has spoke for some additional comments. Is that granted?
There is no policy that states that you have to provide unused minutes to the person.
So one of the things I did miss is on the 5 acres that is being donated, you guys actually know that property. It's kind of the one that's across from RLS building. It's part of the property that's completely wooded, as would be. It's the hardest part of that property to build. So while they are giving us land, they are not giving us flat land that you go in there, scrape the topsoil off, dig footings, and start building. They're giving us the hardest part of that land to build.
My name is Andrew Pyle, 12 Hilltop Drive. I have some paperwork I'd like to share with the council. Is it okay if I hand that to you? I'll start off by saying I am in favor of development. I am not in favor of development as it is currently proposed. So my caveats to this, I'm going to start with some numbers I'm going to count. So I'm going to bore you guys for a second. There was a survey done by Indiana State Universities by College of Education. It was sent out to 285 public schools. 180 responded. 87% of them said that they are struggling to find teachers. 87%. Indiana currently ranks 38th out of 51 state territories. We also rank 36th in funding per student out of 51. The Rockefeller Institute also published data for the state of Indiana that during a 15-year period, we have had the smallest increase in paid teacher salaries during that period of time. A statewide poll from just this last year shows that 72% of teachers think teachers are paid too little. I bring that up because of the density housing that's being proposed. That leads me to my next topic. We say we'd like to pay teachers more based on all those stats. Currently, Hendricks County, from a median tax paid perspective, is the third highest tax county in the state of Indiana, only trailing Hamilton and Lake counties. If you look at it by effective tax rate, we are currently fifth. I will echo the gentleman's comments on the increased water bills. I've already calculated about a 4.5% increase that I've seen in my bill in comparison to 2020 and 2019, with the understanding that additional increases would take place. So that said, there are some negative fiscal items with the project. So all of that does lead me to my ultimate issue with the project, or the proposal, and it's the density of what is being proposed. We already struggle to keep teachers in this district. We're hoping to pay them more to keep them around, but Indiana doesn't pay them very well. And we're pretty heavily.
We really need to try to keep 3 minutes. I appreciate the presentation.
There is one thing that I do want to mention based on some of the comments, I want council to know and have the right understanding and grasp of the procedure to talk about the super voluntary annexation. With it being a super voluntary annexation, you do not Vermont. So it's not a typical situation where it is a voluntary or involuntary annexation. Petitioners and demonstrators say, no, we don't want it. There's no right to that section. The only appeal right
The only appeal right that's available under a super voluntary annexation, if it is passed, is a landowner that is within a half mile or another municipality, with the only reason being that the annexed area is not contiguous. And so that is the only way that somebody can appeal a decision on the super voluntary annexation. So it's a different situation than the normal remonstrances, things of that nature that you have the other two types of annexation. So that's, I just want you guys to know that.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to respond briefly to make sure everyone knows. We do not prepare, your petitioner, Neil Burke, does not prepare your fiscal plan. We don't have any input in the fiscal plan. It is prepared by certified public accountant or the town, hired by the town. We live with the results of what it says. This fiscal plan, yes, it does address the entire annexed property in the annexation. The school plan is regulated by statute as to what it must say and how it must be reviewed. But frankly, a lot of those are too thick for me to understand and go over my head, but the CPAs understand. So we don't prepare this. It's been prepared for the town. It meets statute, meets the ordinance. We agree teachers are paid too little. Say that. I know we led over a little bit into the zoning side of this, but I just want to point out, I think that's One of the reasons that the school, Dr. Schaefer, has written a letter of support for this development, because the revenue it will generate for the schools, with respect to sewer and water and taxes. This fiscal plan, again prepared by CPA, concludes that the tax rate, corporate tax rate down in Danville will decrease as a result of this development. In addition, when we look at sewer and water, this development will contribute, if we run the numbers now, approximately $6.5 million in sewer and water costs. Project that the town is currently seeing, where the rates were increased this year, rates are going to be increased next year, rates might be increased again. That happens irrespective of this development. That is a core project that has to be done, even if this development were to be done. What this development does is offsets that $6 to $8 million cost, the tune of approximately $6.5 million. So with that, we would respectfully request that you approve this.
You have $6.5 million for the entire development or just this phase? Can you ask questions to them? Are we allowed to ask questions to them as well?
Are we allowed to ask questions to them or shots to the development? The public hearing is for the public to voice their concerns and their ability to testify to the council to be taken into consideration. It's not an interrogation of either side.
So the answer is no.
Thank you.
Everybody hear me? Would you rather have it safe this way or? Yes, I'll talk normally.
Okay, sure. There's three things to vote on here tonight. Just the plan, the annexation, and the request for zoning. To vote yes on the fiscal plan and the annexation does not mean that this is going forward. Is that correct?
Correct. Those are two separate votes that you're going to have regarding the acceptance of the fiscal plan and then acceptance of the property.
Right. So that
that is separate consideration than the PUD, but they are interrelated in that this PUD is coming and the super voluntary annexation is here because the development wants to come in.
So what the people here tonight really want to hear is this go forward or not. And if we vote on request for rezoning, is that the big vote where we say yes or no?
The zoning issue is going to be the one that you are taking that large parcel, adopting the PUD, which then allows the development to come in. How do you handle that? The annexation and fiscal plan do not necessarily impact the zoning question.
Right, that doesn't mean it's going to go forward. So the big one is the third one. We say yes, it goes forward.
Well, my guess is, and right now I'm guessing that you guys are going to want to speak to this, is if that PUD is going to be denied, I'm not sure if they're going to want the annexation to the town. That's how they're interconnected, but because they all came in together, this is part of what it is. However, it is possible to adopt a fiscal plan and an annexation, and then reject a zone.
So it would be cleaner to say yes for them all or no for them all. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Mr. President, you still have an open meeting that you gavel open a public hearing on the fiscal one.
Public meeting open.
Sorry about that. So based on what we just heard, it sounds the fiscal plan and the annexation are kind of tied to this developer. My concern was if we annex the land and it becomes town property, and this PUD in particular with Dr. Yard gets turned down, maybe I need to move closer to this thing. So then that land, if approved through annexation, would already be approved for a PUD, which I think there are people who are accepting of the growth. But the question is, if the zoning fails and it's already been annexed into the town, can we get some sort of commitment that a further town hearing would be required for the use of that land? Because once it's annexed, it's town. If the PUD does not go forward, it's still town. So what does that mean? That's a question I'd like to have an answer.
My name is Dave Potter. I live at 1947 Lake Road in Danville. Frankly, I'm not sure what we're debating. But in any event, I'll make my comment. First of all, I want to say thank you to all your council members for spending time with me the last few days to discuss my concerns with this development. I have a lot of concerns about it. I'm going to concentrate on only two or three tonight. One, there's been a lot of discussion on traffic safety. I want to reinforce all those comments and say that I think it would be irresponsible to approve this development without having the wheels in motion to address these traffic and safety concerns coincidental with the development of the project. Secondly, regarding schools, the gentleman spoke earlier about schools. I want to thank Dr. Schaefer for spending time with me this week and giving me this thought about how the development might affect schools. I do not share the development, and let me tell you why. The current cost per student is about $12,000, of which about half of that $6,000 comes from property taxes. Let's assume for a moment that we put in one new $300,000 house and add one new student to the school. That $300,000 house under the state constitution would pay exactly $3,000 in property tax. The school gets about 56% of that, or less than $2,000. So at the current cost of $6,000 per student, expected to come from property tax, that new house and one new student would contribute less than $2,000. That's a $4,000 shortfall. Now let's say we add 1,000 new homes and 1,000 new students. That's $4 million a year. Now, somebody wants it now. So do I really share $4 million a year? No, I don't. There are a number of offsetting factors that would reduce that outcome. I don't have the detail on not able to do it. So it would be less, would not be $4 million a year. But would it be zero? No way. I remind you that here 18 months ago, the school was aggressive at doing a $50 million referendum for capital improvements they say were desperately needed, and that was for a declining enrollment. So to now think that we can add maybe 50% enrollment for the next 10 years or so and not have a major tax increase, I think that's unrealistic. It's unrealistic. I would also point out that a week ago tonight, the Harvard organization stood here and made a big deal about the endorsement of the school. As a matter of fact, we mentioned it just a few minutes ago. It's interesting to me that he didn't mention that the board has retracted that endorsement. That gentleman and ladies should tell you something about the honesty and integrity of the organization. now you're talking 100,000 on top of that. In my opinion, that would fundamentally change the character of the town of Danville, and 96% of people agree with it.
Thank you.
And I ask you to vote no on this project. Thank you.
No more? Speak up.
Still the fiscal plan, it's still gavel meeting. We still gavel this meeting open with the fiscal plan. So if you're gonna close it, that's up to you to be gavel closed, and then move on with the resolution.
Have it closed and go for a vote.
You need to close the fiscal plan here, that's what you're choosing to do.
Are you through,
I'm
Thomas?
sorry, you need to close the public hearing.
All right, protect your tape.
So 25 years of practice, that's the first time someone has publicly attacked my honesty and integrity, and I quite honestly take a little offense to it. Well, get into all the rumors out there and the false information that's been spread, but with respect to Mr. Schaefer's letter, and he's here, he can correct me if I'm wrong, but the school board was asked to issue a letter because people don't like Dr. Schaefer's letter. So they went to the school board and say, well, support issue a letter. And that letter said the school board would not take a position with respect to this development. Nowhere in that letter did it say it rescinds Dr. Schaefer's letter. So that's just false. It doesn't say that. I got a copy of it, and it just simply says they don't take a position, and the school board is there to handle whatever students know through the school system. So you can't.
I'd like to comment that Dr. Schaefer's letter was written on school letterhead and he signed off as superintendent of school, which makes it appear to be an endorsement by the school district. The school board wrote a letter on school letterhead and signed it at the school board and said we.
Thank you, Mr. Potter. Is there anyone else that has any comments before we close the public meeting?
I make a motion for resolution 3-2021 to approve the fiscal plan for the Mile Court property.
Craig Vanlier. David Winters.
Aye.
Tom Tato. Nancy Levitt. Chris Gerald.
Motion's to pass for sorry. Mr. President, can everyone hear me okay? All right, this is the point where you did ask for the public comment to be moved out to. So what we will do is I will call your name, you fill out a sheet to be heard, and so you want to do that, or do you want to allow Courtney to go ahead and do their presentation? It is completely your guys' call, whatever process you want to do. This is the annexation.
Question is, do you want to have public comment? Present their public comment.
Okay. The first one is Greg Black.
plaque is listing the address of 2 Mark Lane.
Dealing with the annexation issue, your council pointed out that this may be a different type of petition, which I have not had experience with, and I'm not speaking as a lawyer tonight, I'm speaking as a citizen and retired. But one way or the other, once we get the lawyer in place with the expert witnesses in advance of any trial, we have got to figure out a way to get into court. Because I realize you approved this plan, but that CPA or whoever did that plan, saying there's no impact, obviously is not a resident of Danville, Indiana. Because everyone knows that this development will have a profound impact on the road maintenance and traffic issues in Danville. However you call it, and that's our purpose, is to get into court on this if you do not rule it as we would like you to. We're asking you to deny the whole shooting match tonight. In this survey, that Mr. Dupree did, he asked, what are the 3 largest disadvantages of the proposed development? The town residents said, 81% said the biggest disadvantage was traffic. He also asked, what are the 3 largest advantages of the subdivision? And 56.42% said there are no advantages to this subdivision. In the end, you 5 are the guardians of the health, safety, and welfare of the community, as you know. And I think that you must, in good conscience, when you look at the whole situation, say, we are not ready for this. Thank
The next person to speak is Jessica King-Ford. She lists an address at 808 North County Road, 200.
To the members of the Danville Town Council, at this time I strongly urge you to vote no, not only a PUD, but also the annexation of this property at this time. We are not opposed to development on the west side of town. However, this is mass chaos, and it has created, can't use the word, but it's created quite a show within the members of this town. And I'm sure most of you have heard that. It's been mentioned by the developer, we're going to go with what their comprehensive plan says, and that says a mixed-use development, a PUD. Well, guess what? That was 25 years ago that comprehensive plan they're referring to was utilized. It's outdated. Let's face it, that'd be like taking the budget that was approved 25 years ago and putting it into place now. It just doesn't work. This builder's had, I think they've got 500 and some days to do their due diligence from the time they entered the contract with the buyer. You're expecting the people within this town to accept this, and that includes you guys, to accept this development and the ramifications of this development in a 3 to 4 week time period. I find that a little alarming. You guys, as a town council, have had questions amongst your council this evening of what do we do here, what do we do there, what's just the best course of action. I think we need to slow this down and give the council members, as well as the members of the community, the opportunity to do their due diligence. My last point, and I'll make it brief, because I know you're pulling up your microphone. My biggest concern is the traffic. And we're talking about a bypass coming out the north side of the development there by North Elementary. That's right next to the kids' playground. That's our youngest group of school children. And you're talking distracted drivers in 2021. The other issue is, Mr. Moore made the other night, is we've got to create the problem before NDOT will do anything about it. That's like Nancy Pelosi saying, sign the bill, and then you can read it. We can't create such a catastrophic problem and then try to figure out a way to fix it. It just totally doesn't work. I had one other point. And I lost it. But it is referring back to your guys' zoning ordinance, it is your purpose as the town of Danville zoning ordinance to regulate the use and development of the property that you're putting in your town. And if you guys are not regulating the use and the development, you're just gonna give it a free-for-all and say, we're gonna put it in, and we'll figure these problems out later, then you're not following your own guidelines in your zoning ordinance.
Living at 150 North County Road 200 West.
Thank you. My name is Mark Irving. I live at 150 North County Road 200 West. I heard somebody mention about the fact that you had to live within a half mile. Drive on 200 West, from the pond there, the west side of the road, that's my house. Those homes are custom-built homes. They're nice homes, so I would be looking directly at this project, or the later part of this project. Their first proposal was apartment complexes right in front of my place. They've since changed that and said they weren't going to do that. However, there's 500, I guess, rental homes they're looking to put kind of the northwest corner of that. I do not see that 500 rental homes is what Danville needs. The environmental part of this, I have mentioned the last two meetings, I've asked them about the pond there. 95% of the drainage comes from the property, Miles Park. It's tile, it goes in, it feeds my pond. I don't want a mud hole out there, I don't want a flood zone. I believe they should have an environmental study to address how it's going to work. I know they're going to go on the field there, but to give, they've got a retention pond. I've got a pond that I don't want to back up myself, like to see it save the city. The traffic, everybody's mentioned it, my wife's been in a bad accident right there, 200 West 46, with the sheriff department. You cannot see a car looking to the west. There's a little dip. That is a bad spot. And we're going to add more traffic to that, and more traffic coming out on 200 West. Please request and ask you guys deny this as the annexation that you gave at this time. Thank you.
I apologize if I don't say this correctly. I live at Avenue 3. This is the address of 2284 West County Road 200 North.
Yeah, so my understanding is from the planning commission, the favorable recommendation for the annexation was based on the concept of their proposal. With all that being said, we're searching for a PUD, from my understanding, because we don't really have the ordinances in place as a town to dictate how they develop, what the architectural standards are, and that is a work in progress. So we're going with the PUD so we can have some sort of guidance, if you will. I think the annexation and the rezoning should be separate issues as they are on the agenda, but the favorable recommendation that came from the planning commission, unless I'm misunderstanding, was approving and giving a favorable recommendation for annexation based on the concept. So once annexed, then we get into the nuts and bolts of what this thing is going to look like. If we get to a point, like I mentioned earlier, that this thing fails, is voted no, the property is annexed into the town, what is the contingency plan? Will it be returned to the county, or will it stay as town property? Whoever has to take the burden of that, if this were to fail, needs to know as far as maintenance is concerned, so on and so forth. So I have yet to hear that if this development fails, what happens to that land if and when annexation is approved?
Or 1322 Brookwood Circle. Last call. Next, I believe is Danville, I'm hoping it's acres. That's it, right, sir? There, many acres, okay. 34 round number.
Thank you. I've had my thunder stolen by some of the speakers already, so I wish they'd yield my 3 minutes to anybody that would like to have 6 minutes.
I don't think we have a policy for that.
Jessica Pennington, 1779 Whisper Road.
First off, I'd like to speak on the 200 proposed rentals. Not anybody who rents proposed to buy. However, I come from a family who has dozens of rental homes. I grew up in the landlord business, and I know the difference of how the properties are taken care of between someone who has an investment in that home and someone who just sleeps and eats there. I think 200 rentals is not what the town needs. Rentals, of course, are needed in every community, but something to this scale, I don't think is what we need. I'm going to also speak to the integrity of the gentleman from Horton. He kept pushing that we have to have this plan before NDOT will do anything. We have to have this in place or NDOT won't even look at anything. I, as a citizen, called NDOT myself. There is currently a case open, and in 24 hours, I had a phone call from an engineer from NDOT to discuss things going on. So this is not something that, well, we have to push this through. Kind of like Jessica said, you have to do this to understand it. No, that's not how this is. And it's very irresponsible to say, no, push this through, and then we'll figure out later how to fix the problems that are already there, and also address the problems that are going to come with a development like this. I'm not against development, but this plan, I don't think is the proper way to do it. Especially considering all the other PUDs going in. It's too much, too fast, and it's not going to be good for the community. Also, Mr. Van Leer said that at the Plan Commission, I did not hear it. It was very hard to hear last week. However, it was supposedly noted that no homes were supposed to be under $250,000 in value. There's nothing in these papers that states any kind of specifics for that. Not one thing. Even what the council or what the Plan Commission recommends to the council, there's nothing. Horton has, not sure if I should say reputation or accusations of other communities across the country where they go in and then do whatever they want, they don't follow the plan. A company the size of Horton could destroy this community. They could come in, do whatever they wanted. If they decided that they didn't want to follow the rules, they wouldn't have to, because this small town would not have the funds to fight them in court. So I think we need to take all that into consideration and rethink this plan.
Thank you.
Mr. President, as a point of order, I have made a mistake. According to the forms that we have provided these citizens, they can relinquish their time in over 6 minutes to a person. So I didn't realize the forms said that it's not our issue. So I apologize. I apologize for all of you. I've only seen these forms. I don't see the sheet of trigger. The next request to speak is Ray Whitaker of 1323 Money Lane.
So this board was on the accusation, so I think the question we have to ask ourselves tonight is, are we willing to annex this in and live with this being a problem of the town for the rest of the time? If you look at, Stratford Bridge there for CBS development, developed it, puts the roads in. Who knows if somebody's watching, making sure they're playing spec. I think it's about 5 years ago, the town has to go in, rip that intersection up, essentially do sub-grade repair. Dump number 2 stone in, get 53 in because it wasn't built right first time. And that's where my concern goes with this on the annexation is, I don't feel like the infrastructure in this town is in place to make sure that all the inspections are done properly. Again, talking to Mr. Van Leer, there has been money in the budget in the building inspection department since 2019 to hire additional inspectors. That has yet to happen. I would ask that as part of this, this is going to be the plan that we are forced to get multiple building inspectors. I know Barry personally, I think he does a fabulous job, but he's going to need some help. Otherwise, we're going to get stuck taking care of these roads. Sure, they can come in and the plan says 4 inch binder, the second inspection comes in, that's 2.5 to 3 inch binder real fast. And yeah, it's going to make it out of the maintenance period of the warranty, but 5 years when the road crumbles and built, it's going to be less than the back assessment of Danville and tax. So I think we need to have real careful consideration with the annexation of this property if we're really truly ready from an infrastructure standpoint to maintain and take care of it. Thank you.
Next request to speak is Stephanie Rummel at 1859 Jesse Road.
Dusty Road, which is, my backyard is 100 feet from the property line of the addition. My question is why do we have to have so many houses on such little lots? Why cannot we be bigger lots and very nice custom homes? I've lived in that area for 30 years, and they're nice custom homes. So are all the people that are on 200 that are going to be looking over at that. I'm very, very frustrated. Very, very. Also, my concern is rental properties. What I want to know, and then nobody probably may know these statistics, but what is the crime rate in Clear Creek? What is the crime rate in Rexford? What is the crime rate when they have rentals? I'm concerned about crime rate. Talk about needing, what are we going to do about expanding the fire department, the police department? We're going to need more of them. So those are all the things that we're concerned about, and the biggest thing is I'd rather see custom homes. I think that would draw a lot more people.
Next request to speak is David Potter, 1947 Knightsbridge Road.
I spoke earlier, no further comments, thank you.
Next request to speak is Mike Eden, 807 North 200 West.
Well, everybody just about covered what I was going to say, but I do have some opinion on this. In your subdivision proposals and also strategic planning, talk about safety in the town, traffic in the town, talk about all the things that everybody here is concerned about, and the things that are detrimental to this development. You guys had a study run 3 or 4 years ago, and I was on one of those committees, and you come back with this, we've got to have diversity, we've got to have connectivity. We have all that stuff that comes from a planner, that comes from these people that are here. So, and the price of these houses, they say they're going up to $425,000. I don't know how you put that big of a house on 70 foot lot. Now, they're asking for a PUD. Developers have PUDs, because 25% of the land they don't develop. brand new home above the average. The other thing about track home building, that's what this is. Once they come in, if you notice in Avon, Plainfield, and Danville, very few custom lots left. The reason being, they can't compete with these builders and what they pay for land. I'm a developer, I know what I'm talking about. If you approve this stuff along with one that you already have attention, you're not going to get any more custom home builders in Danville. There's no place for them to go. Everywhere one of these tract homes spreads out into the open area, they take the sewer and water with them. Well, then the adjacent property has the ability to develop a custom home. They're never going to build a custom home next to a tract home subdivision. I have 2 projects right now in the process of planning for this. If this project goes through, I will promise, and I don't know anybody else that will build custom home subdivision in this county. If you don't bring the quality and the standards and the talent up, you're not going to attract other people. We don't have, everybody talks about the quality of the home, they talk about the traffic, they talk about the school, they want to prove to you. We went over these numbers. Am I running out of time? Somebody give me that. So, you know, in 2019, we kind of put out a thoroughfare plan. If you look at that bypass is right through the middle of the property. So what do? You just forget about the plan and put in place. You know, they talk about bypass down Danville on the north side, on the south side, around the dump, what do you call Danville, Dub City, they want it there. But the problem, you have got to bypass Danville. It's not going to hurt the person. It's going to take a lot of traffic out of downtown. People just won't get to So what you have here, I just don't think you guys have thought this thing far enough, because you can see with all these comments, there's a lot of concerns that people have, and I've not heard anything from the planning commission, which you guys have talked about tonight. There's a lot of concerns that we have, and I think that in 19 days since I got notified, I had time to work for it, and I agree with you, I put a lot of time in. So I'd like to ask you guys to burn it down, give us 60 days.
Next order to speak is Aaron Garland, 2920 South State Road 39.
A couple things I didn't get to include. Oh, sorry, Jessica Pettigo, 1779, Mr. Woodville. A couple things I didn't get to include. The gentleman from Portland kept talking about they're going to bring in $4.5 million of revenue for the sanitary sewer. That can help with the $6 million project that's already going on. However, it's my understanding that that $6 million project is to repair and help the current state, not to bring in new to this subdivision. That doesn't include the fact that this subdivision is going to need its own designated water main ran out to it. So what does all of that cost? That $4.5 million isn't going to help like he was presenting it would. Also, I think we need to take into account the fact that E.R. Horton only has a 1.5 star rating on Consumer Affairs, only 1-star rating for BBB, 1.5 star rating on Yelp. They have multiple different Facebook pages for across the country. Only one of them has the ability to do reviews, and they only have 2 stars for Northwest Florida. The rest of the Facebook pages, the review section has been disabled where people can't even leave reviews. It seems that they may do quality work. When they do quality work, You know, there are a lot of people that enjoy their homes, but when they don't do quality work, they are not ethical in how they handle it. They do not warranty their work. That is the main complaint from everybody across the country. Sandra Bullock used Horton to build her mansion, could not get Horton to warranty anything, had to bulldoze her mansion. You know, I don't know anybody around here, or that's going to be around here, that has money like someone like Sandra Bullock. So if we really want homes in this community that could possibly be in a state of being bulldozed, and the builder won't warranty their work, I think that all needs to be taken into account when approving this. We're done.
The last person requesting to speak is Andrew Kyle from Untitled.
Here, for reasons. I've looked at the initial proposal, and I understand that there might be changes to what was presented, including the removal of the apartment buildings. I'm not, obviously not privy to the changes that are here today. But in relation to the original plan, there was around 1,200 residences that were proposed. Flats being 360 have since been taken off. But the initial estimated total residents to be added, about 3,500. Taking the flats off, that's about 1,000 people that will be removed from that initial plan. Going back to what I was saying about teachers and the strain that it's going to have in the school system, I understand it will bring in more tax revenue, but today, even with us being the third highest tax county in the state, we still don't pay our teachers enough, and they're leaving our town to teach other places. So I'm echoing a little bit of the sentiments of others that have spoken about reducing the number of homes, residences in the proposal. If you were to take out 20 to 25% of the homes that are being planned, that would have a substantial decrease in the number of planned or estimated individuals being added to the town. In the realm of about 1,400 from the initial proposal, which equates to about 2,000 additional residences, or 2,000 additional people being added to the town. That's roughly a 20% increase based on 11,000 estimated individuals in our town. I think that's a little bit more palatable than the 3,500 that was initially proposed. I think this would also quell some of the concerns about the property values. If properties were increased in size, the types of homes can be enlarged, and it wouldn't add as many students to our already taxed teacher in the Danville school system. There is a comprehensive Hendricks County plan to deal with the traffic. However, it was last completed in 2006, as I understand. There are two different connecting roads, one on South 200 and one on 200 North. I think that those could be feasible, but the leakage of the development that's already taken place is going to make that a little harder to take place at this point, seeing that that was 15 years ago. Thank you.
That's all that I have a request for to speak. If you'd like to allow for the developer to speak, that's your decision. I know you requested some time, and you also have the opportunity to take a break if you so desire. Our procedures allow a 5 to 10 minute break if that's what you choose.
before we do that, I don't know if I need to state, but Mr. Cato was asking me the next time meeting, or the meeting. That's, okay. I want to make sure that we hear that. So yeah, for 10 minutes. Is that good? Okay.
We'll start with, 9
Thank you. All right, it's 9 o'clock. We have a meeting back to work.
Mr. Vice President, in front of council, I placed a packet from Alan Bree, will have that, and it's in reference to the survey and petition that the supply.
Thank you, Mark. So we have discussed the fiscal plan, we voted on that. Public comment. Next up would be the petition for annexation. Before we get to a vote, we did want to invite share some of their floor is yours.
Good evening. Again, my name is John, Council for DR Portland. With me here tonight, I have Matt Dunn, Division President for DR Portland, Chris McKinney, Vice President of Land Development, Lisa Platform, Council for Land Analyst, Josh Cribble from American Structure Point, and Matt Brown from A&F Engineering. I'd like to start. I appreciated the break because the statement about Sandra Bullock sort of threw us for a loop a little bit. I think Matt was actually excited they would have done for Sandra Bullock, but I want to say it demonstrates the challenges we face in these and information on the internet. Pulled it up, and yes, she did bulldoze her home, which would have been neat to see. And it was built by Benny and Sean for $6.5 million in Austin, Texas. So, from what I was able to find during our 10-minute break, she did bulldoze her home. We were not the builder of that home. So, that's the end of it. So, I'd like to start. Thank you for your time tonight, and I'm going to start with some of the changes that we have made to this plan. This plan was presented to the Plan Commission last Wednesday, and there were several commitments made. I think we're all very aware of the property here. This is the Miles Farm on the west side of Danville. It's roughly 388 acres between Mackey Road and County Road 200 west on the north side of US 36. You can see that the town limits currently abut up to this property. This is the next property to be developed to the west side of town. It's been the Miles Farm family, or the Miles family, since 1898. This talk, we have a comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan does show this area as future expansion for the town of Danville. As you can note on the map, this is where the next expansion is going to be to the west, is the Miles property. Again, talking about the comprehensive plan. The Danville Comprehensive Plan states part of maintaining the feel of a small town is avoiding what is called suburban sprawl. One method of doing so is developing housing styles found in the older parts of town. Higher density housing with smaller lots, rich green patterns, and the incorporation of a mix of housing sizes and types. All of these can be located in a neighborhood with the feel of a small town while being in close proximity to commercial and employment areas. That's the plan we have before you tonight. We look at the plan. This is what it originally looked like. When this plan was originally presented to the town, we were in roughly 1,400 homes and apartments here on the site. Through discussions with the Plan Commission and some commitments that they requested, the plan has changed. Through the commitments that were made to the Plan Commission, if you read those there, they're in your booklet. The first commitment that was made to the Plan Commission is we struck the multifamily apartments. There are no more apartments in the development. Folks found those objectionable, so we went back to the drawing board and agreed to remove those. In addition, we expanded both business parks. The Plan Commission requested that we expand the business park east, which we did by 1 acre, and requested that we expand the business park west by 5 acres, which we did. So that went from 11.1 to 16.1 acres on the west. And then Mr. Lofton also requested a frontage road there, so we'll incorporate that in to the business park west. Also included, we would have an 8-foot wide asphalt path running the entirety of US 36. So Barry, I'll show you a slide here shortly. It's a very walkable neighborhood. It's very connected, and the Plan Commission wanted to make sure that there was a path along 36, so we've committed to do that. Plan Commission also requested that all homes have at least one window on each side of the home, so we've committed to that as well. There was a question brought up about exterior materials and elevations of the commercial buildings in the business park east and business park west. And we discussed that this is the first step of the process. This is the rezoning. If the rezoning is approved, then we have to go to engineering and actually do a preliminary plan where we lay out things like storm drainage, water runoff, how we collect those in detention ponds, layouts of the lots, those sorts of things. At that point, at that stage, when we bring the business parks back, is when the elevations and materials for the buildings in those commercial areas will be subject to Plan Commission approval. So the Plan Commission still has the discretion to say, no, we don't like the look of that building, we don't like the location of that building, we want to orientate it a little more to the north or to the south. However that works through that planning process, we've committed that that is up to the Plan Commission and their discretion. We have to come get the Plan Commission's approval for any material, whether it's a brick, or it's a stone, or it's a stucco building. All of that is subject to Plan Commission approval for those commercial buildings. And lastly, it was requested that the 2-family villas section be restricted to 55 and over, and we've agreed to do that. So we'll work with the Fair Housing Act requirements to make sure that that's a 55 and over housing community pursuant to those requirements. So what that does is leads to a new plan. Our new plan for the Plan Commission, removes the multifamily apartments. Instead, these would be single-family homes, like what we see in the preserve section. The business park to the west adds an additional 5 acres. We'll extend that over, re-engineer this here, so that we have the additional acreage for the business park west. And then over on the business park east, we added an acre to what was there previously, and that will be along 36 as well. This plan provides a variety of home types and a variety of home prices. Starts roughly at $225,000, goes up to the low $400,000, $425,000, that area of home. The idea of following the comp plan is to provide a mixed style of housing options, which we're trying to do. The average sale price of the home last year in Danville was $249,000. Median home price is $215,000. So on the low end of our homes will fit right in that average and median, and then we'll go on up into the $400,000 range for the homes. This plan, while we extended we got rid of multifamily, extended business parks, it still maintains the 28 acres over here for the community park, sports fields, sport field house, and fire station. This is a 10 to 12 year build out. It would start from the east and go to the west as we build out the plan. Subsequent to the Plan Commission here, we've been very active in meeting with folks in the community and trying to get as much input and feedback as we can. So we've got to the Plan Commission, went out and met with other folks in the public, had some discussions, and the topic that came up during those discussions is we'd like to see more masonry and some additional commitments or architectural requirements. But what we're bringing today, we've just gone ahead and done it. If the community, what we're hearing is we want those additions, we will go ahead and do that. We look at the plan, and we can do that. So we've submitted additional commitments as part of this development. In the estates and reserve districts on your plan, vinyl siding will be prohibited. We'll have all exterior materials there, brick, stone, stucco, wood, composite wood, fiber cement. In the villas district, each home must have a first floor masonry wrap, such that 100% of the first floor elevation of the brick or stone, exclusive of doors, windows, garage doors, shutters, and trim. Number 3, we've added a commitment that all homes that abut US 36 and County Road 200 west, the rear of those homes must have a rear facade architectural feature such as sunroom, breakfast nook, covered porch, or street porch. We already had that commitment over on the east side of the development. We've now just made that a commitment around the development or any of the perimeter. And I've got some photographs here in a second. I'll show you what those look like. Fourth, we have added in all single-family districts of the villas district, all windows shall contain a minimum 1 inch by 4 inch decorative trim or decorative shutter, unless the window is set into masonry plane. And then lastly, in all districts, for all residences, front elevation of the homes must contain at least 5 of the following features. We've got a list of features there. They must have 5 of them. So I'm going to show you here in a second a photograph of what that does. But it changes in elevation to roof ridge, garage roof ridge, dormers, front porch, and so forth. You can read the list. But we've made those commitments as part of our rezoning request. So here's some photographs that will show the effect of requiring those 5 architectural features on the fronts of homes. Here you've got dormers, roof, pit roof, windows in the garage doors, brick accents, window grids, covered front porch, windows in the garage. So those are the types of things you see. Now, on our earlier petition tonight, there was some about siding, and the prior petitioner mentioned vinyl siding has come a long way. But when we hear vinyl siding, we think, all right, all the houses are yellow, and they've got that wavy side to them. We've seen that, and that's certainly not a problem. A lot of that in the 2000s. A long way since then. Now we have the 0.44 inch gauge, which we committed to here. There's various colors of sidings. Also, we use the backer board that you mentioned, Mr. Mailer. We use it on all our homes, backer board for any vinyl siding. So that's that as well, because that's part of how we construct it. So here is the difference between 2 homes that are built with brick and vinyl siding. But this home does not have the 5 characteristics that we've included in this commitment. This home does. Has a facade modulation of the garage, porch, tapered columns, things like that. So, in the vinyl siding question, like I said, we've eliminated that from 2 of the sections. And we've required a first floor masonry wrap for the villas. We like to offer a vinyl product in the subdivision. 1, we think it looks good. 2, we're trying to hit all price points. Obviously, as you increase materials, you increase the price of the home, you eliminate some potential buyers. So, if you don't have the vinyl, price goes up, and some people just simply can't afford the home. And you're talking homes that are $225 up to $425. those homes are fairly expensive homes. I mean, those aren't your $100,000 homes we see when people sort of envision that vinyl village term you see there. So that's how we come up with additional commitments, trying to modify what our offerings are. But one, address what we're hearing from the community, that the community wants more brick, wants more masonry, wants more stone, and also wants more variety in how the homes look. Our homes, we also have an anti-mounting provision already in the PUD, so you don't end up with the same homes next to each other. You have to have different elevations as you go down the block. Neighborhood is also across the street that's already in the PUD. A little summary of our revisions that we've made. There's been a reduction. Originally, there were 1,494 homes and apartments proposed for this development. We're currently at 1,041 homes for this development. Now, approximately 23 acres of commercial development on US 36. We have no vinyl siding in the estates or reserve districts. We have a first floor masonry wrap with brick or stone on all homes in the Villas district. Any home with vinyl siding must have a front elevation that is a minimum of 50% masonry, brick or stone, and 5 additional architectural features on the front of the home. All homes shall have at least one window on each side of the home. Villas section shall be age restricted, 55 and above. We have extensive landscaping we've committed to around the perimeter of the project. I'll show you here in a second. And then the 8-foot wide asphalt path along US 36. So that summarizes the changes that were made at the Planning Commission and commitments we've made in response to some public comment subsequent to the Planning Commission. Now, if you'd like, I'll take you on a brief tour through the vision of Miles Farm and how this will lay out. Here's a typical entry, monumentation. This is the entry that you would see off of US 36 into the development. Property develops east to west. In the southeast corner, we have 28.86 acres that will be donated to the town of Danville for an athletic complex, community park, and fire station. That can be configured as the town desires, up to the Parks Department as to how they want to lay that out. But that land will be donated to the town. Here's what we see in the community park. We got open space, recreation area, relaxation area. This slide shows the fire station right here. Once again, subject to the town and where they would like to locate that. I understand there is a need for a fire station on the west side of town, and need of some of your public safety folks. That in the works needs to be done. So this plan provides the acreage to do that. And then we've had some discussions. This came up in early discussions with the Danville Chamber of Commerce. They're interested in having some type of field house out there in that public park. So we're trying to work with them to come up with some private partnership that will facilitate that happening there. Once again, all of this for use by all of the residents of the town of Danville. Going to the north, let's go through these quickly. North of the community department sports field will be the estates section. North Elementary will be up here to see the orientation. And these are the homes that are going to be 325 to 425. This is also where we're committed to no vinyl. Approximately 165 homes located in this area. We have committed to North Elementary to provide a stub into North Elementary. They requested that to one, help with drop-off and pickup, and two, to connect North Elementary to the rest of the school campus, US 36. I will say, and we'll talk about this in a minute, there's been some discussion about making this a more robust ingress and egress that would then have go out to 39 and have an access road off of that road into the North Elementary campus. And I'll show that in a moment. We've got commitments for these homes to the rear. They have to have the rear architectural features for them, which I'm going to show you. Homes on the perimeter also have a larger square footage requirement. The homes in the estates are 1750 to 2250, that's the minimum, that's the minimum. And anything on the board would be 2,000 to 2,500. We've also agreed to extensive buffer of shade trees, evergreen trees, ornamental trees, 5 native grasses, every 100 feet, and along the north and to roughly right in here, we've agreed for 48-inch vinyl coated chain link fence. That was requested by some others to the north, as well as I worked on some fencing here to be able to do that. Here's some representative homes you can see in the estate section. These are homes for other corporate developments we've developed. This year, Mr. Van Der, you may have asked us during the planning commission for photographs of the rear architectural features we talked about. So here's what we would. That's what you're seeing here. These rear back porches, top outs, things like that. We're going to have as part of our commitments for the rears of the homes along the interior. Moving then to the west of the estates, we get to the reserve. Reserve, again, we've added that commitment. There's no line in the reserve section. We've got 140 homes there in the reserve section. Estimated home value $275,000 to $350,000. Homes would be at a minimum range of a range of 1,500, minimum of a 2-story, 2,000 square feet. We've got the same buffer to the north that we had in the estate section with shade trees, native grasses, ornamental trees, evergreen trees, every 100 feet. And again, we committed to the 48-inch vinyl coated chain link fence. That will run the entire north property line of this development. From our east property line all the way over to 200 west, we'll have the chain link fence installed. That can be requested some of those folks from north intervene. Here's some representative homes that you will see in the reserve section of the development. Next, we have the business park east. Again, it's gone, it's now 6.8 acres. We have this additional acre here along US 36. Request from the Plan Commission. Possible uses there: restaurant, neighborhood, retail, assisted living, medical office, grocery, coffee shop, dental office. We've heard in our meetings consistently that the folks would really like to see more restaurant options and a grocery option on the west side of town. And so our plan tries to facilitate that with the development. As I told folks, one thing about restaurants follow rooftops. Rooftops don't follow restaurants. You're going to have rooftop first, then you have restaurants come in. So that's what we would envision here, and then I'll talk a little about the west as well. Here's our amenity center. That's just to the west. The amenity center is it's roughly 25.18 acres. We might lose a little of that when we expand the business park down here on 36, but it runs from 36 all the way to the north property line of the property. This is the amenity center, lakes, trails, activity center for residents of the development. Here, what you see is a typical rendering of the amenity center, and what you'll see there is we have basketball, we have pickleball, we have bocce, playground, swimming pool, spa, splash pad, and community center. Once again, all connected everywhere in the development, either sidewalk or trail. Give that area connectivity so people can get to that community center. Going to the west, we have the preserve section. Preserve section here is 93.77 acres. And this will expand a little when we move it, expand over into what used to be the multifamily. We've eliminated the apartments. These home values are $225,000 to $300,000. Right now, 356. It's the maximum number of homes will be located there. They're full small footprint, 1,400 square foot range, 1,800 square foot minimum on a 2-story. Here's a representative homes that you would see in the preserve. Look basically the same as the other homes, they're just small. Really big and homes. Then we have the apartments. Two-family district. This is the area where we have now committed to make this 55 and over community. These are paired patio homes, zero maintenance, loans will be taken care of, snow, things like that. The home values here, they are deeded to the owner, will be $250,000 to $300,000 range. We have 93 lots, which results in 186 homes, since they are two-family homes. Upper to the north, again, it runs the same as it did along the eastern part of the development, where we've got shade trees, evergreen trees, 48-inch vinyl footage, fence along the entire property line. And there is some of the existing tree line there, and we will preserve that existing tree line as part of the development the best we can. Here's some homes. These photographs were actually taken over in Parks and Prestwick, Avon, typical home you see in our two-family product. These homes, again, we also did first floor, all masonry, brick or stone wrap, all the way around the buildings. Then we have the park section, another single-family development section. We have a maximum number of 200. Matt tells me we're roughly 196, we think, 194 for that development. And this again is maintenance-free living. These homes are actually single-family homes that Horton would build, and then Horton would lease out homes. So these homes are geared toward, I can tell you some statistics I brought. So, as I've said in a couple of meetings, what we're seeing around the country with our millennial buyers, millennials are marrying later, they're having children later, and they like to rent. And so this is geared toward that type of buyer, renter, as well as when you're a single parent, might own an apartment, not have barriers to entry to get into buying a single family home. But this will allow them the opportunity to lease a single family home. A couple of statistics, because people challenge me on this a little, to give a difference in the different demographics. So at age 30, 51% of baby boomers, when they were 30, owned a home. Gen Xers, which I think I may fall into, 48% of Gen Xers at 30 owned a home. For millennials, we're down to 42%. That number continues to drop. 18% of millennial renters say they plan to rent forever. That number has gone in the past 3 years from 11% to 12% to 18%. They don't plan on buying a home, on a rental. But that's where we're going. That's what this product is geared to. There's been questions about, I guess we have concern or fears of the type of people that would live at home. I don't have those fears. I think we see a lot of young professionals living there that would provide a product for entry into the Danville community. There's statistics say that typically where someone first lives as an adult and working, you tend to stay. And so this is one of those products that provides that entry level, that home. These rents are going to be $1,250 to $1,450 a month. They're certainly not inexpensive, but it provides a place for someone who maybe doesn't have the capacity to buy a home yet, or wants to just rent. Gives them that opportunity to set down roots here, and then as they progress through life, whether that's marriage, whether that's kids, this development also provides that opportunity throughout the development. Again, same color to the north, we're talking about the chain link fence up here, 50-foot buffer, heavily landscaped. And then over to the west, we have a 100-foot buffer, where we also have a 4 to 6 foot undulating mound, shade trees, evergreen trees, ornamental trees, and maiden grasses as well over there. That was done in response to some of the concerns that we received from the homeowners from the west. Type of homes you see in the charts, or these types of home, once again, we want like them just a little bit smaller for the single family, single parent, or young millennial. This rendering shows this would be the villas here, or not villas, I'm sorry, the parks. These are the homes that are in Quail Road to the north. Here's the buffer. Right here, the trees. We will seek to preserve this existing tree line, which that appears on their property. Here's the view looking to the west. There's that 4-inch 9-foot chain link fence, walking path, shrubs and trees, and that extensive buffer area between the existing homes and the new homes. And here's the view looking to the east. You can see the fence there and the walking path. Moving on, these are gone. This is part of the presentation of the Planning Commission. Multifamily has been eliminated from the project. Multifamily project there as well. So what that leaves us with is the overall plan as it currently exists, with preserve now over here on the west. Once again, we have the buffer along 200 west, the expanded business parks. Buffer along 200 west. This is a rendering of what you can see there. So let's put 200 west here. Got the undulating mound, landscaping, the homes that are behind that mound. This is a 100-foot wide buffer that runs the length of 200 west. South. The last section would be the business park west. That is now up to 16.1 acres. We added 5 acres for that at the request of the Planning Commission. Again, typical uses we see there: grocery, restaurant, neighborhood retail, medical office. I spoke to someone who lives in Fairmont, and she was very interested. Well, we have a place to sell fresh fruit. Right now, we don't have fresh fruit across the street. I guess they're not allocated across the street. And some of the interest we've received at this point is yes, that will deliver on a request like that there on the west side of town. I would also hope some of the traffic on through town, because I know that Danville gets a lot of traffic from the west to go to the Kroger or to the Walmart. If we provide some of that on the west side of town, we'll alleviate some of that traffic through the town. Next slide. So this slide shows the trails throughout the property. One of the goals that Mr. Miles envisioned for his property was a development that offered various housing types, a public area for folks. He wants to preserve, there's a log cabin on the property from the mid-1850s, and we're going to preserve that for him. He asked us to do that, so we can do that. We also wanted interconnectivity trails and so forth. One of the advantages of having a single developer do this large project is you get this interconnectivity. You get a plan of development. You know what it's going to look like. We chopped it up into smaller acreages with various different developers. You don't get this kind of flow with it. You don't get the public park. You don't get the athletic fields and so forth. With respect to the trails, right now we've got 17.57 miles of sidewalk, 2.63 miles of trail. You could walk with this development anywhere in the development to the Danville Town Square. From this corner down here is less than a mile. We've got sidewalk installed to get down to the town square. So the goal was to make this available for anyone who wanted to walk through town square. They're able to do that from this paths. Been a lot of talk about traffic, and we've heard that from the beginning of this. We understand traffic is a concern. I just pulled a couple excerpts out of the comprehensive plan about the traffic in Danville. Comprehensive plan talks about east-west connections. Because one of the primary concerns of Danville residents is the congestion of US 36. And we're focusing on just one road now fix the problem. One of the main contributors to the heavy traffic on US 36 is the lack of a better route. There's such a large number of cars on US 36 because there's simply no other way to go. Someone earlier tonight mentioned the thoroughfare plan and a bypass, that goes to this property. That bypass is also mentioned in the comprehensive plan. It talks about 3 alternatives for a bypass north of town, trying to get traffic off of 36 before it gets to town, take it around town, either heading east or west. With that in mind, this plan currently has 3 stub roads and possible bypasses around the town. To the north here, and then right now, this one would not be a bypass because it would go into North Elementary. However, we have begun engineering the possibility. North Elementary has some additional land north of their campus, about 9 acres. And in talking with North Elementary, there's the possibility of making this a more robust road that would provide an outlet to 39 out near the North Christian Church. And then we would have an access road off of that North Elementary. It's all in the preliminary discussion phase, and then we've had engineers look at it, and they believe it could be a workable solution to get that bypass. But this, we believe, respectfully, is the first step towards a bypass around Danville. As I said during the plan commission, that bypass, we've been talking about a bypass since before I played junior high basketball in this gym. It's been a long time talking about a bypass. It has not happened. And some folks I've talked to, they've said the town has talked to end up so about bypass hasn't been able to get a favorable response to that. We contend that this is the first step in making that a reality because we're going to take traffic off of 36, take it through the subdivision one way or another, and in the future, get that out to 39. And keep in mind, this is a 10 to 12 year project. These homes won't be here in 3 years. They won't be here in 5 years. It's a 10 to 12 year project, and as we build out, we continue to work on that going forward. Now, there's been some questions asked about in the review process. I have background here from A&F engineering, so I think it's probably best for him to say where that is in the process. So, Matt, if you have a second, I'll just let you go ahead.
For the record, Matt Brown, traffic engineer with A&F Engineering, 365 Stone Crossing, Indianapolis. Just real quick, I just want to kind of tell you where you are in the process and NDOT's typical review process for traffic study. We completed a traffic study that had significant scope. It studied many intersections along 36, around the towns, and others. That report was then submitted to NDOT. NDOT has yet to issue a comment. I don't know if they're reading it currently or if it's under a stack of 5 other traffic studies that I've done across several communities. So right now I'm waiting for their comment. They have a track record of sometimes they'll read it or something's approved. Maybe if they're more closely, in my experience, they'll say, okay, I'll get this. Certainly, if the project is approved, or if they have a known quantity, number of units, types of units, that is probably going to be a little higher on the list because the next step in that process is laying out what improvements are in that traffic study. And if they agree with you, you could say, full on everything you recommended in there, that's what we want. Or they can say, we want more. They can say, you want left. After that process is done, doing the study, sitting down and agreeing on what should be done. The next step is developing a set of plans. The set of plans would never get developed if the project isn't approved. There'd be no reason to move forward, right? They're not going to pay me to put together a set of plans without approved project. So the next steps will be sitting down with NDOT and say, review the study, coming up with a plan for 36. It's already been laid out there for, seeing if they can curve, and then going forward, if this is approved, moving forward, laying out the acquisition of the driveway, laying out the improvement. That's a far step down the road. That's what we are.
Thanks, Matt. Just this next trail here shows where those possible routes in 39 would be. Here's the northeast corner of our property. That would be one possible route there. Also route here, that I think another route here was closer to where the road would be. Another item I'll briefly discuss, there is significant community support for this development. We now apparently have an issue about Mr. Schaefer being superintendent and him supporting this project as superintendent. He's here if he'd like to speak to that on his own, but what Mr. Schaefer's letter says is the school would handle the additional students. I think in my discussion with Mr. Schaefer, he said that the school has already slated for some growth, and they're going to need to renovate some buildings, they're going to need to expand some buildings, irrespective of our development. What our development does is adds additional student revenue from the state of Indiana that assists with that funding and with that expansion. And I'll just say that Mr. Schaefer did say here at the bottom of our support the project for the benefits that will bring to the school corporation. Next letter, in a neighborhood meeting that we had, someone asked a very good question. She asked, what does the hospital think about this? Given where we're at today, COVID and so forth. And thought to ask the hospital that. Well, that's a good question to ask the hospital. So I called Mr. Spear, President and CEO, and he's very excited for the project. He said they could enroll and take in these additional residents today. So he wrote a letter, actually an email, where they offer their support for this project and hope that it was approved. Next, we have the redevelopment commission. We met with them. It's been close to a month ago now, where we showed them the original plan, and after they had some questions and we gave some feedback, they voted the concept of the plan. Part of that is based on the benefits that this development brings to the town. There are several economic benefits to a development like this. The first is this property is currently in the county. We'll be bringing it into the town. And with that, for this development, we'll have an assessed valuation in excess of $250 million for property tax purposes for the town of Danville. But right now, it's zero because it's in the county. It'll go up to over $250 million after it's developed. We went back and reread the sanitary sewer and water fees with regard to the development with the additional commercial that we're adding. You may be aware that the fees are the roughly $4,900 for water and sewer for each residential unit, and then there's a $1,500 per acre for water and $1,400 per acre for sewer. It goes backwards with those numbers. When you do the math on those numbers, there are fees paid to the town of $6.5 million. The current project, as we talked earlier, that the town is doing on the west side of town for the sewers, happens irrespective of this development. It must be repaired. What this does is help offset that cost for those repairs. Projected local income tax revenue of $1.5 million to $1.8 million for residents of the town. also have local income additional residents to support businesses in the town. The fiscal plan shows a projected decrease in the corporate tax rate for this development. This development actually results in taxes that are lower for Danville residents if approved. Increased tuition support revenue from the school corporation so that the school can have assistance in funding the renovations and the expansion of the schools that are going to have to be done irrespective of this development. Those are going to happen. 28 acres of athletic fields, public park, and fire station to be donated to the town for use by residents. I'm not going to go through all these staff comments. I appreciate your time tonight, but the staff had several comments on our plan, and I think the staff will tell you we agreed to everything. If the staff asked for it, we agreed to it. So, there were maintenance here, tree preservation easement, multi-use pad, question of the amenity center, density, street lighting, landscape buffering, asked us to revise the 3-car garages, we agreed to that. Land ownership of the 2-family portion, 2 families are going to be individually owned. Those up at the top, those are owned by individuals, 55 of them that live there. Staff asked to prohibit above-ground pools and storage buildings. We agreed to that. No above-ground pools, no storage buildings in the development. And then we also added those rear architectural standards to the PUD. Changed the roof overhangs at the request of the staff. Sidewalks are within 5 feet. And we did talk about earlier about the architectural commitment we made in commercial areas. That's subject to planning commission approval through the site plan. Quickly, the staff report. The staff supports our request to rezone the property to PUD. Town's comprehensive plan show this area as vacant for future expansion area on the land use plan and complies with the economic development strategic plan. This is a mixed use development with a commercial component, an area for a public park, an area donated for public use will be available to provide the necessary services to the proposed residences of this development. So in summary, I'll just say that we've got quality mixed-use development on real estate identified for future development of the town's comprehensive plan, including connectivity for a future bypass, increased assessed valuation in excess of $250 million for the town, sanitary and sewer fees of approximately $6.5 million, projected local income tax revenue 1.5 to 1.8 billion. Fiscal plan projects a decrease in the town's corporate tax rate, 28 acres of athletic fields, public park, and fire station. We have support from the Danville, Dr. Schaefer, the school corporation, support from the Danville Redevelopment Commission, support from the Danville Regional Hospital, support from the staff, and a 5-1 favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission. But with that, I think we addressed most of the launch their comments. I did want to ask Matt Dunn to come up and briefly respond to comments about quality. We heard that from the Planning Commission as well. I think we'd like to hear Portland's response to that as to their homes and quality of homes.
We want to be respectful of the time too, so.
Yes, I can be very brief. I just want to quickly address the issue of quality. D.R. Horton, America's largest builder by number of homes built. We built 68,000 homes last year around the country. This year, closer to 80,000. As I said at the Planning Commission meeting, unfortunately, when you build that many homes, things go wrong. Things will likely go wrong in this. I think what is important, we take a lot of pride in, is how we handle those issues. We have a 90-day warranty process, an 11-month warranty process. We're back in everyone's home at least twice in the first year to fix those issues. We put aside significant reserves. Take care of defects when they do occur. Yeah, we can't run and hide from bad things that happen in construction, but we do stand behind the homes we build. We've got a great referral rate here in Indianapolis. 14% of our sales come referrals of people living in existing homes. That's the highest in the country. So we take great pride in it. Our team locally takes great pride in it. That's what I think.
So with that, I would just close by saying, to clarify the annexation and the PUDR coming together. if we annex this in, we're gonna, well, that won't happen. They're tied together, they're on the same, and so we would respectfully request for favorable consideration, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, John. Going through that, I know that you agree that we're probably the last one heard some of that already. So I guess where we are now is we're at a point where we need to entertain the motion, but I do think it's important to give council members an opportunity to make any comments before we go on to the next part here.
Matt, I just have a question. I think during the plan commission, you mentioned that you want to request more comments.
Yes, sir, that's correct. I was the division president for Westport Homes. My father was one of the principals in that business. We sold the business to D.R. Horton back in 2018. There was a long, drawn-out, thoughtful decision. Really did a lot of due diligence. As they were doing due diligence on us, we did a lot of due diligence on them. I felt a lot of comfort being part of the corporation. And so far, that's held true. We really appreciate the leadership. We've remained involved in the business and are happy to continue to do so.
So with the acquisition of Westport Homes, you retain 100% of your staff?
We did, yeah. We kept every single staff member, and we're adding the team of our business.
So the boots on the ground in this project, would you say, and I know that Westport is now D.R. Horton, but would the boots on the ground, would it be the former Westport Homes team?
That'd be correct, yes. Our on-site construction superintendents and supervisors would be the former Westport Homes team. All of our subcontractors and contractors doing the work would be those that we had relationships with prior to the acquisition. A lot of those relationships go back 20, 30 years, and we continue to do business with those folks.
So there's, I did some research on Westport Homes, you guys have 4.5% rating out there, so we have relations, and, that's good, thank you.
Okay, no one else. I do want to say a couple of things. Obviously, I'm speaking for David, not for anyone else, but one thing I do know is that every one of us up here have been working to learn as much as we can over the last, learn as much as we could over the last few weeks, certainly the last few days after the favorable vote. First of all, thank you for everyone for coming out. It's important that we hear what you have to say, what you have to think. And there's been and thank you guys, you're coming out and answering some of those questions and taking some of those concessions. I think this is a great bill at some point. But I've heard enough here, with waiting on NDOT, just getting some of these new concessions today, we've not really been able to digest, although you did a great job with them. I personally don't see any harm in waiting, make sure that we understand everything that we're wanting, that we want, and to ensure that we have the standards of Danville that are important. So I just don't see the harm in holding on to it. That way we can digest what we're talking about here. And but I personally, when we first started talking about this, I loved the idea. It's a great concept. But of course, we represent the folks in Danville. We want to make sure that we're doing what's best for the town. So again, that's just me and speaking on my behalf. So I'll just leave it at that. I think there's no harm in holding on. Sure. First of all, thank you for the presentation. Thank you for the great outcome tonight. Referring to the comprehensive plan, I just feel it's fair. This
read, under the growth management section of the comprehensive plan, residents expressed that uncontrolled growth was a threat to the small town character of Danville, and therefore listed growth management as one of the top issues to be addressed in the writing of this comprehensive plan. Although residents are in support of growth, they find it imperative that the growth be directed and controlled. I felt like that was important to read.
All right, no one else has anything? Next move would be a motion.
Make a motion that we approve ordinance 4-20-21, petition for annexation of Milesville property.
I have a motion, we have a second.
If there's no second.
Point of order, can I ask, what does that do for this? Is it a no vote? Fail to hear a second. It's approved.
But if there's a lack of a second, it is considered a, no vote, there's nothing to vote on. So it's a rejection of.
So, please.
Well, because the motion was motion to approve.
Because the motion was the motion to approve ordinance or 2021, that failed for lack of a second. So the ordinance is not passed, cannot pass because there's no second, no action to be taken to pass. If it was a motion to deny it and it didn't receive a second, then that motion to deny it. There's no motion at all, there's nothing to consider. When a motion is made on an item and there is no second, whatever that motion is deemed as valid. Well, the whole thing that will open up with super commentary is then the option for criminal code. The civil code, or after 60 days of your petition, if the ordinance does not pass, the petition is formed.
So rather than that super voluntary, court proceeding, if you have additional questions or concerns, want to table this for 30 days or however long to study it, we're happy to do it.
That's absurd.
I don't, procedurally, I'm not sure where to go on this. I will say this, though, I personally, I'm not a no forever. I think we do need to study what's been presented tonight, and we need to make sure that we've got everything in order on our side of things. I know there's been a lot of work done on it. So whatever we need to do to allow this to not be dead forever is something that I would personally.
It's not going to be dead forever because my reading of the statute, we talk about super voluntary. Town council does not pass an ordinance taking that property into the town, then they can petition the court, and the court will make a determination on the super voluntary. And so, just because the annexation does not occur here, the court, after 60 days from their petition to council for the super voluntary, we take it under advisement, and then they can.
I thought it through. I listened to everybody. Over the days, I was for it, I was against it, I was for it. And finally, after I got lots of emails and phone calls and talking to people, I decided to say no. And I went through several scenarios of saying yes, and that would be the end of that, we could start. Or postponing it for 40 days or something, and trying to get everything together, and then making another decision. But in saying no, it's just like postponing it. It gives us a longer time to address roads and schools and things like that. So that's the reason I felt to say no, and we can still talk to people. Maybe you guys will come back, maybe you won't. But I think the town strength is these people that have the energy to come here. There's a lot of people in town, there's 9,000 of them, 3,100 homes, and that would be a third of the town that we'd be changing if we start another town. And I think it takes a lot more input than what we just did here. I know people thought we routed it through, but we didn't. Some of the comments I got from the people that was working yourselves, where you were very professional, very congenial, did everything wonderful. But no matter how good it is, it's still over on the west side of town, and there are still things that we have to address. And we're going to start addressing those things right away. And hopefully the townspeople will be happy about that. We have about 900 homes going in on the east side. And this West Trail Division didn't really get a lot of negative out of it, because it already is serviced by the fire department, the police department, the water department, and everything is there. But out west, it's a little bit different story. So my reason to say no right now, I just said it. So that's what I feel. I appreciate your professionalism and your time. I'm sorry I can't hear. I'm deaf, so I can hear in the council. I can't hear anything. And I gave over to Dave to carry on. That's all I got to say. Does anybody else want to say something?
I presume that makes item number 9 at this point. We still need to call for.
Well, at this point, I mean, it's not, I don't know, you hear, like, you exercise extraterritorial zoning. Well, I was addressing that to,
No.
So I don't know. This is a different type of situation. I am not sure that without the annexation into the town, how to take action on that.
So therefore, you're saying that there would be no point. Right. Not in council.
So given that questions on the annexation and voluntary and how that plays out, you know, we're going to go to the courts after this. My suggestion is that we table the zoning part of it, because it may come back if the property does get annexed and subject to a local zone. So my suggestion would be that we table that for 30 or 60 days. We'll figure out the annexation part, and either we end up withdrawing it. Or we move forward. We have to determine that through what happens with the annexation.
I would agree with that statement, because what you're gonna have is, if they go forward and bring the action in the circuit court for the annexation, then you can move forward in the annexation first and then consider the PUD. As of right now, there's no action really to be taken, so it's not as if the PUD zoning ordinance is being defeated or considered at this point. And so it would still be allowed.
I would like to make a motion. I would move that we table this for 90 days.
He hasn't gathered it out yet.
When you talk about the PUD ordinance, there's no action to be taken right now. It is because without the annexation, the rezoning is not going to happen. Depending upon the determination on the annexation, the court may bring that PUD back up or may not. The one thing that I do not know and that I'm going to have to look at is the timing when you talk about area plans, big move up in a situation like this. So I don't have an answer on that, but I don't believe that there's any action that we need to take right now on the zoning issue.
Okay.
Mr. Vice President, staff would like to remove item J from the.
Okay, so item J is the next council meeting. All right, so item K, resolution 6-2021, request that we establish CCD rate.
This is just to reestablish the CCD rate as the maximum 0.05, resolution that I present to you. You will need that open for a public hearing, you close the public hearing, and then vote on resolution.
Now, close the public hearing. We'll entertain a motion for resolution 6-2021.
Make a motion that we approve resolution 6-2021 to establish a CCD rate.
Motion made. We have a motion, second and third, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries 5-0. All right, moving on to item L, resolution 7-2021, request to transfer from.
This is just a that creates COVID out the money that was received, and this is just being included in the general fund.
Entertain a motion for resolution 30-2021.
I move that we approve resolution 7/2021.
Motion, second. Motion is second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Earlier, before this meeting, we had a work study to discuss movement of funds from the post fund to the post future fund. And so I would open or entertain a motion.
I would make a motion that we approve the transfer of $300,000 from the post fund to the post future fund for investment.
Motion, we have a second. Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries 5-0. Okay. We are back at staff and council comments. And Manfred, we'll start with you.
Due to the duration of this meeting, I will pass on comments.
Great. I just want to say thank you all for coming out. I know this is a long night. This is a long night, but I appreciate everyone coming out and letting being a part of this is an important thing, and I would encourage you that don't let your involvement stop here. It's very important to have your input so that we can shape the future of the neighborhood. Looks like we have plain document, so next, so I will entertain a motion. Have a motion? Motion is second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, carries 5-0. And motion adjourned. Second? Second. All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?